Welcome to issue 279 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, the encounter sets. We'll discuss those poorly understood characters, unfairly labeled villains, and their various plans to shape humanity and benefit the planet, as well as those so-called heroes intent on thwarting them. I am one of your hosts, James, or Darcy, not Darcy, as one of our leaders, Steve,
Well,
said last week. Hi, Steve.
there are two capital letters in your handle, capital D and a capital A. So I was trying to, emphasize both capital letters. So
I think it's pronounced emphasize, but fine. And there's an apostrophe between the two in the real world, so you just blow right through it.
in the real
Speaking of
world,
blowing right through it, Bill's here with us. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, James, good to see you again.
Good to see
Good to see you too, Steve.
yeah, you too, Bill.
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a whole week, and Daniel is still not back. I'm starting to get a little worried, but James, I hear that maybe there was a Daniel spotting.
Yeah, I have the
In the wild?
In the wild, yeah.
wild. I have the great fortune of living close enough to Daniel that we bumped into each other when we were visiting our local game store.
Hmm.
His family was with him. My son was with me. As it happens, we actually knew that we'd be there at the same time. I texted just in case. So I saw him. This was admittedly now a couple of weeks ago as well, though. And I tried to get my son to, because like, oh, I know your voice. You're Daniel from Critical Encounters, because I know that that's his dream. And I asked him in the car, because he's like, Alistair's a big fan of the show. He listens to the show. But he said he felt shy about it because he's 8, you know.
Hi, Alistair. Glad to know he's listening. Although he probably won't listen to this one because you're on it. But if he's anything like my kids, so
wow.
Does he sound like a young Darcy? Does he have
He does not. He is more one of those. He's one of those kids from around here where he's good at saying, like, you say water and I say water. You know. So
Okay.
Hi, Alistair.
So he could have pulled it off. He could have totally pulled it off. He could have.
If you're asking about
tricking Daniel into thinking he was a stranger. Yeah.
Oh,
has he met him? Has he met him before?
I thought you meant if he could have pulled off coming on instead of me, and you forced him to do podcasts now with the voice with you. He could have done it. Yes, he could have. He totally could have said that's Daniel. But as a true Minions minion, he did not. He did not. It would have brought Daniel much joy, and yet my child would not provide.
He couldn't do it. So that's quality villain in training right there.
Yeah, already surpassing me.
Yeah,
already surpassing me. Yeah.
Oof.
That's not the reason we haven't seen him for a while.
We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see where he's at. But
when I was doing the sweep of his IT, I did come across a few more of those Chilean emails about some princess that needed like money and saving, and he always opens them. So maybe he's, I don't know, down in Chile.
Could be. All right. Well, let's get to today's show, shall we?
Good.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
We are working our way into the modular sets that are required for Dark Beast, and we're going to start with the Genosha modular set. And as a world traveler, we thought we'd have Darcy on to tell us all about the mutant homeland. No, the mutant travel, whatever Genosha has. It has something to do with mutants. So tell us, give us the Travelocity rating here for Genosha. That's what I want to know.
This is what we're here for. So we've got this modern industrial nation, okay, economically thriving, advanced infrastructure, beautiful coastlines. So on paper, a model of stability and progress. But under the surface,
don't they also hold on? Don't they also make like really nice armored unibikes from that.
We are
Okay.
going to get to all
Okay.
kinds of things here.
I had this commercial running through my head that I keep hearing, so it's all right. Okay. All right. Sorry, I
Genosha.
didn't mean to interrupt.
All good. But under the
I
surface,
derailed you.
Do they have parasailing?
no, under the surface, there's this legalized system of segregation. An entire population categorized, labeled, and stripped of autonomy based on their genetics, on what or who they were born as. Citizens on one side, laborers, subhuman by law on the other. And they were denied the right to vote, they were denied the right to live in certain places, they're denied the right to own property, to even walk on certain streets. And every piece of their existence is being regulated by the state, who they could marry, where they could work, where they could be buried. The entire economy is built on the backs of some people. And when the world finally looked, the people in power said, this is just the way that things are. This is order. And if
Yep.
you haven't figured it out yet, guys, this is South Africa during apartheid.
Yeah. Tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time. And that
Yep.
is exactly where Chris Claremont brings in this idea, admittedly a sci-fi dystopia version, into the comic books. There's no escaping it. Like, comic books, obviously through history, and especially in the X-Men, has always been a great way to kind of take things that have been happening, particularly race-related things, and putting them in there through the lens of, well, what is it to be a mutant, to be denied existence, or to be separated based off of who you are? So, starts a little dark. Would you like to be whisked away somewhere else for a second to lighten the tone before we step into the writing of Genosha? Or do you want to just have a few seconds of silence before we carry on?
Yeah. I mean, a little reflection there. A little reflection on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I just heard a Unibike in the background. Okay, well, have you guys ever heard of North Andros? Been to North Andros out in the Bahamas?
Nope.
No?
Have never been there.
Out
Nope.
No.
the Vegak Islands?
Nope.
No.
No, that's like Arctic Russia somewhere. Masbate or Makira? What about the Mansell Island? You must have heard of Mansell Island. That's up in like Canadian Arctic. No?
I'll have to say I've never really been to the Canadian Arctic before. That's not high on my list.
Okay, well, that's obviously why you invited me here today. These are all real islands, all remote, all easily overlooked, and each of them is roughly the size of Genosha, which is about 1,284 square miles. So small enough to miss, but big enough to matter. 1988, if you didn't know, it's actually the year of my birth, so very important year. Madeline Pryor, who at the time was a photojournalist, is sent to Genosha on assignment. Right? She doesn't get that far. She's flagged as a mutant. She's kidnapped. She's processed. She's stripped of her autonomy, genetically altered, and then stamped into the system as a mutate. So we've come across
Mm-hmm.
mutates before. Mutates here are not the same thing as when we're talking about Zola, right?
Okay.
Anytime we talk about mutates today, it's just the name of basically enslaved and genetically altered mutants. And so basically, the island of Genosha has been transformed through this guy called Philip Moreau, the gene engineer, into basically a slave island of forced labor for mutants that have been genetically altered.
He came up recently in a different show. So okay.
Cheery stuff.
Yeah.
Now on this island, like I'm gonna blow through a lot of this now. I mean, Genosha gets set up this way, and then it goes through this big long saga of how it changes throughout time. In this first time, Philip Moreau's son and another freed mutate end up spilling the beans. The world gets out. The whole world sees Genosha for what it is. There's outrage, sanctions, people get involved, and then the mutate program is declared illegal. But the bones of this system kind of still stay there, because even when you get things changed, oppression doesn't really die just because you change the sign on the island. So throughout the years, it's made appearances at loads of different times. It's turned up in Civil War. It's turned up in the Extinction series, in New Mutants, Excalibur, and it's always been this island, kind of like going from times of having these human elite places to having these mutant liberation movements to being basically a utopia run by mutants. it's been a long and winding path. At times being almost entirely populated by mutants. When they're making that safe haven. And by 1999, I think another big kind of moment that people remember for is during Magneto's rule. That what does he say? I think he comes out and he says like, "I didn't conquer Genosha. I inherited its corpse." And so it's gone. The government's gone. The cities are half empty. The mutant populations are fractured. And then he takes it, he rebuilds it. But guess what? He still doesn't really bring it back to everyone. For him, it's more of the nope. This is all for mutants. That's it. This is now the world's first mutant nation. Full stop. So the pendulum swings. It swings drastically to the other side. And under Magneto, the last Sentinels are melted down and turned into perimeter defenses. A mutant army is raised, but not for conquest, but to make sure that like no one else is ever going to go there. New cities rise, new systems form. Everything's built by mutants for mutants, and humans. They are politely but firmly asked to leave. Actually, not politely, and then firmly. Yeah, so from the outside, it looks like dictatorship, tyranny, terrorism. But guess what? To the mutants living there, it's the first time in their entire lives that they've been safe. So this really like complex little nation that really is a tale of two kind of very extreme stories, where we've got one which is all about oppression, and then one that swings so far to the oppressed being in charge that it ends up kind of looking a lot like a dictatorship all over again. And through all of this, when we see it turn up in the game, we are very much talking about these early days. We're not talking about this utopia. We are 1,000% talking about the dystopia section. Things to know, just key names that you're going to hear come up, is that the magistrates that are there are basically the police force. So if you ever come across a magistrate is basically part of the Genoshan police force. You may find these guys in, rather impressive pieces of technical kit. And that's what I've got for you guys. That is Genosha.
Yeah. Troubling. I always like the X-Men comics kind of shining a light on society, like even from the beginning. So it's interesting to hear Genosha be at both ends of the spectrum, because like, newer stuff, it's, the utopia kind of thing, but clearly it's a long road to get there.
Yeah, a lot of history there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a place. It's a lot like Krakoa, right? It starts off as this just little mention, maybe setting for a few, releases, but then it really does. It just becomes such a permanent part of X-Men history. So just so many times, throughout the decades of it being run now, Genosha is going to be brought up at some kind of varying state of, oh, Scarlet Witch got rid of everyone. What happened on Genosha? Scarlet Witch did stuff to everyone again. Oh, what happened on Genosha this time? It's always there for them to be able to go back and reference.
Yeah. It makes sense. I guess we'll talk when we talk Dark Beast about it being one of the locations you're chasing through, and it fits in I feel like the theme of apocalypse and just like this dystopian nightmare and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm glad to see it in the game. So
and like to your point with the apocalypse side of it, it's not really something that I'm Scarlet Rhodey may know. You may know. Maybe I'll have horrible emails from people evermore. But it's not really a location that I think is like strongly associated with apocalypse. Though when you stop and think about it, and you think about survival of the fittest, the most powerful rising to the top, the world being for the most powerful and superior. That's kind of what Genosha's been both times around. It was that under Magneto, and it was that under the magistrate system as well, both times.
A lot of these locations that they mention, like you mentioned Krakoa earlier, and of course we talk about the Savage Land, which is one of the locations in the game, and they in all the major stories they somehow find their way to these different locations. So it is fitting that they would include that in here, because it does have some history there, but everything seems to find its way to these spots. So
yeah. Including us. Shall
Yeah,
we?
we're here.
Shall we go there then?
Let's go.
Darcy gave us I don't know if I'm ever would want to travel there myself, either times. But it's a modular set in the game, so let's look at it. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this comes in the Age of Apocalypse box. There are 8 total cards, 6 by title, and it is required in Dark Beast. James, why don't you give us the place itself?
Yeah. The eponymously named Genosha is an environment. It is location and setting trait. It is a setup card. So you have to remember that this is part of the setup of the game. This is going to be in play from the start of the game. Obviously, Dark Beast has his own rules for this, but if you shuffle this in, this is going to be out turn 1, and it
Mhm.
gives the villain steady with a special. Place 1 threat on the main scheme, and when revealed, discard each other setting environment in play, and it has 3 boost icons.
Okay. It's these are going to be interesting to talk about without talking about the rest of them or the way Dark Beast works, but we're going to talk kind of in a solo. The villain's getting steady, and there's this special trigger, which eventually we'll see some cards that say trigger the special, right?
Now,
So
it is worth mentioning, I guess, for the just here of all of the 3 of the settings that you can get with Dark Beast, having steady is a pretty great one because he is going to activate his special. Well, maybe that comes in a later time.
when he
But yeah,
activates, right? So yeah,
when he well specifically when he attacks. So if
yeah,
you have to double stun him now, it really means that you just keep getting pinged.
yeah.
Sorry, keep getting dinged with the threat.
Yeah. Well, and any villain giving that villain steady just completely
Mm-mm.
changes your build.
Yep.
Um, is it, people say, well, if the villain is steady, I don't even try to stun and confuse them, and other people, dedicate more resources to stunning and confusing them. So it's a major trait, I think, to give the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Setup
Um,
changes the game turn 1.
And you don't know if you're going to use it in Dark Beast or not, but it certainly
Mm.
gives you something to think about when you're building your deck to
Yeah.
take it on.
Yep.
I like the look of the card. I mean, it's commissioned art. At a distance, it looks like kind of a nice place to go visit, right? It's got a nice little
Mm.
shoreline there, and you know,
Big moon in the background, peaceful
yeah,
looking. Yeah,
places to
yeah.
shop, stuff to
But
do.
it definitely has like an ominous, like overbearing height to it as well. There's something about it that's like an overseeing dominance perspective, which is quite cool too. Which it feels like gives the villain steady, lets them place threat on the main. Feels like it's giving, it's really pushing up that villain a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's look at this first card. Escaped Mutant is an attachment, and it says attached to your identity. Each Genosha minion that engages you gains Quick Strike. With the alter ego action, resolve the special ability on the setting environment, which means put 1 threat on the main scheme, and then you can discard Escaped Mutant. Has a flavor text. Mutants who wish to escape Genosha must find a way to evade the magistrates. 3 boost icons. So there you
Mm-mm.
go. You have mutants trying to escape. So this is clearly set in the early days of Genosha, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time
Bearing
travel
down.
to 88.
Bearing down on them, coming after them.
Yeah, it's commissioned art, right? So we've got a mutant in some sort of maybe that's their prisoner suit, and then you've got all these magistrates chasing them down. So Quick Strike. Every minion that engages you has Quick Strike. So
Every Genosha minion.
every Genosha minion. Oh man, it should be every
Yeah.
minion.
I mean, they're in Genosha, so just
That's
take a
true.
Sharpie, write it on the environment. Each minion gains the Genosha trait. Problem solved.
Well, hopefully this set has some Genosha minions in it. What do you think, Bill?
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the armored unibike. It is a minion with a scheme of 1, an attack of 2, which has a force response. It's a Genosha vehicle, 4 hit points. It says the armored unibike engages a player with escape mutant attached if able. And on that force response on the attack, it says after armored unibike attacks, resolve the special ability on the setting environment. And it has 1 boost icon on it. There's 2 copies of this. And the flavor text says, I have the mutant's signal moving to intercept.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that everyone has Scottish accents in Genosha, Read the flavor text with a Scottish accent.
Sure they do. Sure they do.
Here he goes.
Never mind.
I have the mutant signal. Moving to intercept.
It's like a really bad Sean Connery.
That's an Alex Trebek.
Oh yeah, Trebek. It's a Trebek. Yeah.
Sean Connery, we meet again, you logger-headed, tickle-brained pumpkin. I cut an album of filthy limericks just so I'd be eligible. There once was a man named Trebek who had the world's tiniest... Enough! Okay.
The armored Unibike.
I'll take armored Unibikes for 400, Alex.
It's a Genosha vehicle with a big gun sticking out of the front.
Yeah, it's
I Genosha vehicle your mother, Trebek.
Okay. So this minion is a Genosha minion, which is cool. So, and it always engages somebody who has escape mutant attached. So if escape mutant's out, armored Unibike comes up, it engages that person. Escape mutant says it gets quick strike, so it makes a 2 attack against you, which triggers the setting environment. And in this case, it is the one threat in the main scheme.
When it happens, it just feels so good.
Yeah. Just zooms in and does stuff. Now, what is a Unibike?
I mean,
is it a unicycle?
One bike.
No, yeah, it's you've heard of a bicycle. You know, the ones that have like 2 wheels, right? And you cycle it. Well, a motorbike, but with 1 wheel, where it's, powered by something, is a Unibike.
Is that the art? It really only has 1 wheel? I thought it looks like there's 2 to me.
No, I think that thing at the back, if you look closely, it's like this orangey glow. So I think it's like some turbo boostery power thing. And if we could see the other side, I think we'd see another one.
Okay.
Got a big potato cannon on the front.
Yeah.
I mean, with a spud gun like that, you got to have some heft on the back just to balance it out.
All right. All right. Cool.
Mashed taters.
Well, it's got a triple. There's like 3 holes inside the main barrel, so it's like firing. It looks like it's really going to be some sort of Gatling laser gun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that. I'm waiting to see what happens. I can't remember if we've had any vehicle traits in the past, but would love to see some more vehicles happening. And interestingly enough, the next minion, the Genoshan mech, which is a 2 scheme, 3 attack. You guessed it. Force response after Genoshan mech attacks and defeats one of your allies. Resolve the special ability on the setting environment. Comes in with guard, toughness, 5 HP. It is Genosha traded, of course, but it is also a vehicle. So they have this mech suit is also vehicle traded, which I think is pretty cool. Their suits are built to counter our powers. And that was Scottish Storm.
Yeah, she's suddenly Scottish. Yeah, two boost icons on this one.
It sure is.
I guess it's a vehicle. You drive it around the suit.
Yeah. They climb into it. It's taking them from place to place. They're not walking anymore.
Right. I think this is a mech like this, like the size of a Gundam kind of thing. Like it's got to be really tall. It's not just like a suit. It's a mech. So that's why it's a vehicle.
Yeah.
That's why it's a vehicle and not like tech or armor or something. So.
They needed to put like a little X-Man in here so we had some, with them like stepping on them or something, so we could really see the size difference. Ideally, Storm
scale.
Scale. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yep. It's triggering the location, so it's adding threat, but this time only if it defeats an ally.
But it does have guard, tough, and 5 hit points in the meantime, so can't get the villain.
That's right.
Stuff. It's 5. It's a bit to chew through.
Yeah. I mean, if he does defeat that ally, you trigger the thing twice. So in this case, it's 2 threat.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
not
true.
just once, twice.
Yeah. Has to work for it. It's hitting for 3. I mean, yeah. I can see it.
Yeah. You might jump block. Okay. Well, there are 2 more minions, and these are the aforementioned magistrates. So the magistrate minion is a 2 scheme, 2 attack, 3 health Genosha traded minion with the patrol keyword. When defeated, the defeating player finds escaped mutant and attaches it to their identity. Oh, that's cool. As a special boost, if escaped mutant is attached to your identity, this card gains 3 boost icons. So these guys are hunting you down.
What a great modifier.
Yeah, that's a fun, interesting like play on the mechanics of the set.
Yeah, I know that last week we were doing we were doing dinosaur adjacent, Lord of the Ring adjacent Sauron, and I think that was a 6-card set, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I gotta say, like, I know that this is only, well, it's 2 more, but one of them's a permanent environment. Just how self-referential these sets get are just so good. That, having those when defeated moments that bring something back out that we have to deal with. I love it. I love it when they work this way because it just really feels like we get to see them.
Yeah, I like that it's these magistrates who are attaching the escaped mutant, and
Mhm.
if you're one of these escaped mutants, like that's who they're trained to go after, so that's where they're getting the bonus. So in that boost effect. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
I think he's getting ready to bust the door open. Is that what he's using, like a battering ram
Yeah.
to
The
attack
main guy
with?
is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's looking for you because the mutants escaped, so he's got to hunt you down wherever. And then it's patrol, so you can't, you're not out there thwarting, which is great because the main scheme is, or the setting is putting threat on the main scheme.
Yeah,
That's
Yep.
cool. Yep.
great.
And you got to deal with him. You can't just let the patrol guy sit out there normally. So you're going to have to defeat him, which triggers the ability.
Yep.
Go find it. I like it. Neat.
All right, there's one card left. Whose turn is it?
Let me give it a shot.
Bill.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the police state. It's a side scheme. Genosha built its wealth by exploiting its mutant population. It has a hinder of 1 per player. When defeated, the player who defeated the scheme finds the escape mutant attachment and reveals it. It has a hazard icon on it. It comes into play with just 2 threat on it, and it has 2 boost icons on it. So another side scheme that's going to demand your attention.
Yeah. Hazards always do.
It's got the hazards, and when we play Steve, you end up with all the hazards in front of you. Usually, they're piled up in front of you. So we try to make it a point to get rid of those hazard icons off the table. 2 per player, which scales it to 2-player game. Has just 4 threat, so it's easy to take out. But then you got to find the escape mutant attachment and reveal it, and it's all over again.
So there's only one of these escaped mutant attachments, right?
Yes, just 1.
So it could be out in play when you clear this or when you defeat a magistrate.
Mhm.
So that's something maybe the find rule, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Find says when instructed to find a card, a player searches each game area where that card could be found. Play area, set aside area, player deck, discard pile, and counter deck, right? All game areas are subject to search when resolving a find instruction, with the following exceptions: face down and counter cards, victory display, cards that have been removed from the game.
It'll bounce around.
Yeah. If it is attached to Bill when I defeat the side scheme, it will leave you and come to me. Right?
Yep.
That's the
Yep.
way I'm reading it. Yep.
That's right.
Which really does make it then in a 4-player game. People are really going to think twice about whether they're going to bother doing that alter ego action. So it just gives you that extra choice point where it's like, well, am I really going to flip down and do this? I think someone else is going to end up getting this on them in 5 seconds.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because there's what?
Yeah.
Both magistrates can bring it out and police state can bring it. Right?
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Just one thing I have always found weird on this card that I've not fully understood is it looks like they're being led into a prison of some kind, right? It says police state. I really feel like the person in the holding cell looks very smiley. Like they're very happy to be there, or they're sinisterly smiling at the new people being brought in. Is that just me?
Misery loves company.
Yeah.
Misery
Right.
loves
Like
company.
that.
I mean, this person looks real sadistic. Like,
Yeah.
real
Well, maybe
sadistic.
they're siblings and he's just happy to see his sister.
Yeah. He's saying fresh fish.
Oh my gosh.
New target.
Yeah. Interesting. It is
I'm
weird.
never
art,
going to be able
slightly.
to unsee and unthink this now that he's smiling, looking at his sister in that way, saying, never mind, as a sibling. Mm-hmm. Lovely stuff.
Anyways, okay, so here's the 8-card set. What do we think?
I love this. I think that this is my favorite. Like, I love all of the sets that come with Dark Beast. But as I said at the top, I really like that this gives him steady, or any villain steady. That just I think is a grueling thing it means that the special triggers a lot more. And whenever I play it, it really does just I don't know. I just feel like I've got this like dystopian, police state artwork popping up everywhere. I really like it. I think it's a really cool set.
Yeah, and I like the way it kind of it weaves in and out of itself. Like we looked at that armored unibike. Armored unibike engages the player with the escape mutant attached, if able. So if you have the armored unibike on one person and that escape mutant gets bounced, then it says the armored unibike guy he's gonna go over there and engage someone else. So it seems like these abilities are kind of bouncing around the table. It really does feel like a force is really going after that one in a multiplayer game, going after that one minion that is labeled the escape mutant.
You know what, Bill?
Right.
I had not put together. I had gotten like 1 + 1 = 2, but not 2 + 2 = 4. So if the armored unibike is out and you're the escape mutant, but then I defeat the magistrate, the escape mutant moves to me, and so does the armored unibike, which
Yep.
activates the armored unibike, which triggers the special on the
Mm-hmm.
Genosha. Yeah, there's a lot of good little tricks there. Woo! I did not catch that because that's just straight up text on the card. It's not like a
Mhm.
It's like
response
a
or a
permanent
trigger.
ability.
Yeah, it's just always active. Yeah, good. Oh, I love it.
So it's
don't know
more of
how I
those
missed
things that you got to keep track of when you're playing these guys. Is all these different triggers that may be on the cards in front of you, and you may not be the active player, so you may not be looking at the card or the text.
Yeah.
So you just have to, put that reminder arrow right next to that card to say, "Oh, this one's going to bounce around." So
Honestly,
yeah,
I think that we need to get like a subset of minions to just go through and find these moments, because this is a prime thing that I think a lot of people probably won't think of pulling to them once it attaches to them. So we need to just make sure that people are actually taking the punishment that they deserve with some of these cards.
Agreed.
played as written.
Yeah.
Read the cards.
So the interesting thing here on all the writing for all these guys is it always says trigger the special on the setting environment. And for the most part, if you're just putting Genosha in, it's always Genosha is the setting environment. But we're going to
Mhm.
have the opportunity there for there to be other setting environments out replacing the Genosha one. They'll still trigger it. These guys will still trigger the setting abilities, but it might be the blue side of the moon. It could be Savage Lands, or who knows in the future what else we might get for settings. So
And
Sure.
I think that's neat too. It doesn't say trigger Genosha's special ability. It's like the setting environment. So
And when I think of setting environments, I think we all think of Mojo as well. I know they're not perfect, but you can have some fun just, maybe with some minor tweaks if you need to here and there, just switching between them with some of the Mojo set as well, which is a ton of fun.
yeah. Okay, let's give it a grade. Darcy, you're up first this time.
G
Doesn't have
for great.
say doesn't have to be clever. Okay.
It wasn't.
G for Genosha. Yeah, well, you're right. You're right. It wasn't. Wow, disappointed in you. Bill. Sorry, crack me up.
I'm going to give it. I'm going to give this a letter grade, and I'm going to give it a B plus, almost an A. Yeah,
Cool. All right.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like it. I like it more that we talked about it now because I'm seeing things differently than I did at first glance. So
Yeah, and this is a modular set. I think does not have to be played in Dark Beast. This is a great anywhere because the Genosha environment is set up and comes out. So any set it can add some new wrinkle to the game with that steady and the special ability, and people like to play against minions, and here's 5 of them. So yeah, give
Put
it
it
a
in
try,
Rhino.
people. Yeah,
Put it in Rhino,
put
see
it in
what
Rhino.
happens.
Sure. Yeah. Anything like that. So okay. Well, hey guys, thanks so much for coming on for these 2 weeks. When Daniel's not here, I'm gonna have to maybe go and look for him. I'm starting to get worried. Last spotted at what was it called, the Labyrinth. That worries me a little bit. Maybe he's stuck somewhere. Yeah, you know what? I think after this show, I'm gonna head out. After this, I'm gonna go and try and find him.
That's a good idea.
Can you guys keep an eye on the place for me while I'm gone?
Oh yeah, fine.
Yeah. Okay.
We've
We've done that before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, those of you out there, if you think you know where Daniel might be, is he an escaped mutant? Is he in Genosha? Let me know. You can email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We're Critical Encounters on Facebook. You can find our YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Vardane, Board Game Lawyer, and Darcy. If you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. Magistrate number 245, take us out.
I have the mutant signal. Moving to intercept.
Thought he was Scottish.
I have the mutant signal. Moving to intercept.
G. Genosha. Hi, Genosha. Need a ride that won't leave you stranded when abhorrent mutants drop in? Then get to Magistrate Motors for unbeatable deals on armored unibikes and Genoshan class mech suits. Armored unibikes built for high-speed pursuit with threat-inducing special abilities. Perfect for running down and engaging escaped mutants. And today only, get a free anti-telepath visor or go big with a Genoshan mech suit, fully loaded with power gauntlets and plasma armor! Deal's so good you'll think that we rewrote reality. Magistrate Motors, if you drive off the lot, it's yours. No refunds. M-A-G Magistrate Motors. All sets on. Verify human mutant status before purchase. Not liable for uprisings, coups, or sentinel attacks. Drive responsibly unless ordered otherwise.
Oh, before you head out, make sure can you throw your keys over to us? We just want to make sure that we can lock the front door so no one,
There's an extra set on the hook. There's an extra set on the hook by the door.
Oh, great. And no one gets out.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
See you, Steve.
Bye.
Yeah, see you later. Good luck.